Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today we will be continuing with our little series where I answer 300 Reddit questions. And today we are almost halfway through and we are in part 6. So before we get into this video, if you enjoy it, then please make sure to hit the like button below so that more people can see it. Hit the subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss anything. And follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will leave the links below in the first comment and also within the description. And without further ado, let's get into part 6 today. All right, what is something you're hypocritical about, something you believe but have a hard time sticking to in practice? That one's pretty easy. I have an incredibly hard time dealing with goals. Like I've watched a lot of dating advice videos and read a lot on Quora about how to deal specifically with goals who give you a hard time and all that. Well, when it comes to practice, I always tell people to do this and that, but apparently even I have an incredibly hard time keeping this in practice. And when I lose something, then I come back to know this and then I fail again and then I learn all over again. It's pretty tiring, but I think it just takes time for me to be able to get the practice area right. It's pretty much like theory and application. Theory is easy, but application takes time. Has anyone close to you ever died? Was there anything that helped you to move past their death? Um, well, for me personally, like the worst that has ever happened, my grandmother died when I was 7 years old, my mother's mother. Uh, yeah, I had a hard time seeing my mother and her sisters and brothers as they were all suffering. But personally, for me, I was still a kid, I wasn't that self-aware. So I didn't feel much of it, but if there is anyone who dies, which is close to me, it's probably gonna be my mother. And if I really want to make her happy, then best solution would be for me is just to make her proud and make it big as well, because I think in the end that's exactly what we all want to see our kids make it incredibly big in something. That's exactly how I would love to make my mother happy. What is something you're inherently bad at, no matter how hard you try to improve? Um, I would say, well, there's not really much that I could think of, but because here's the thing, like whatever, if there's anything that I'm bad at, but I really want it, eventually I will be good at it. It has happened to me before when I was lifting weights, and like in the end, I got what I wanted for a short period of time, and I can get it again. But if there is one thing that actually matters to me, it's probably engineering. No matter how hard I try, I would pass, but I would be passing with like 50 or 60 units. These units are incredibly hard, and no matter how hard I try, I just tend to suffer a lot. Why don't I quit? Because I'm not the one who quits at anything, basically. Do you have any inherent talents? Yeah, saying incredibly lame and corny jokes at serious times, or being sarcastic when I'm meant to be serious. I have these two habits and they're terrible, but they always give me a good laugh. Okay. What small significant thing gives you joy? Um, to be honest, anyone who is close enough to me, maybe a good friend, maybe a spouse, maybe someone I'm in a relationship, maybe one of my parents, maybe somebody I know, an old friend, anyone who reaches out to me just to make sure that I'm perfectly fine when I genuinely need it, that's more than enough for me. And I am more than happy to have these people around me because they always tell me, Baha, we have your back, you do your thing, shoot your shot, you do what you gotta do. And if everyone in this world has family over money, I would tell you are the most luckiest person alive. What small, insignificant thing gives you joy? Yeah, you just answered that. If you could live anywhere in the world in any kind of domicile and money was no object, where would you live and what would your dwelling be like? Okay, I don't know what exactly dwelling means here, and I have no idea what domicile means either. But if money was no object, and if I get to live in one place in the world, I would honestly just fly straight out to Norway or Alaska. And what do these two places have in common? They have the northern lights. Just seeing the northern lights and looking up in the sky and admiring and appreciating the beauty that God has left for us on this planet, it's mind blowing, especially when you see it in motion with all these videos that come out nowadays. They're all color graded and all, but I just have this crazy wish that one day I hope to be able to see that. Ever since I was 16, I've always wanted to see it, and hopefully one day, if YouTube plays well enough, maybe I'll get to see it. And if you really want to help me to do with that, then don't forget to like and subscribe below. Really means a lot to me. What is one thing you've done, seen, eaten, etc. that turned out to be really good, even though you initially didn't expect it to be? Uh, Japanese noodles, I think. I remember one time where we were out exploring Kuala Lumpur. That was like 3 or 3.5 years ago. I was still brand new in my university back then, and yeah, we basically were in a Japanese area. We had to taste some specific Japanese noodles. I didn't really like them that much, and the smell was not promising at all. But when I tasted it, I was like, yeah, that's not so bad. And I actually enjoyed it that day. That was something a little bit different for me. All right. In the movie Inside Out, I've never watched that movie. Each person has a set of core memories that define who they are and how they behave. Which one is yours? If I were to say that I have a core memory, it's probably just trying to be the best of the best in whatever I do. If I'm doing something, I either make it to the top of the list or I don't even try. It's always for me the best or nothing. That's a motto from Mercedes-Benz, so credits to them for that. But yeah, if I had a core memory, then just try to be the best of the best in whatever you do and focus on just a few tasks and like excel at these. Don't focus on way too many things and fail. Focus on just a few things and be the best at that. What's the biggest mistake you've made that actually turned out all right? Uh, I think back then when I didn't have much experience with girls, I think I said something inappropriate, kind of gave someone an embarrassing situation back then. I was basically roasting that person, and I thought that I lost chances with that person, but somehow they actually came back, and I was genuinely shocked at how this came to play in my own favor. Like I said back then, I had no experience with social communication with people. It was a girl back then, if I'm not mistaken. What's the best decision you've ever made? Travel to Malaysia. Travel to Malaysia has taught me so many things that staying in my home country and living with my family never would have taught me. I'm never gonna regret traveling alone, and I will never stop recommending to people to travel alone and experience the world. Because once you've done it once, you know that you could do pretty much anything, and that is a big shot of confidence. If many people had this in the world, many people will be successful at whatever they do. When you're sick, what are some things you eat, drink, watch to be comfortable? Eat, no idea. Drink, water, watch any Netflix movie or maybe Need for Speed. I love that movie called Need for Speed. Like, yeah, I know not everyone likes it, but I personally think that is my personal favorite. All right. What are some core principles you have that you never give up or change? Well, fundamentally, I would say never let her go who's not your girlfriend get into your head. Don't be her text buddy. And I'm sure that you've heard that nearly everywhere, but I will also tell that to you. Don't be her text buddy. Focus on yourself, give yourself full attention, prioritize yourself, learn how to say no, be the best of the best, be the master of your life, and know that people will never, ever be able to control you as long as you don't allow them to control you. The moment you give up your own power, you're done for good. Keep that in mind. Have you ever invented something? It doesn't have to be a traditional product, either it can be creating a new dish, coining a term. Uh, Not really, to be honest. Nope. Nope. I didn't invent anything yet. I'm still learning how to monitor, how to utilize the weapons that I have in my hand. And if you don't know what exactly I meant, like I'm still learning life. What cause do you strongly support even though it wouldn't directly benefit you? I strongly believe in helping people. You just never know who you're helping and who might remember you for anything. And even if you never did, what I do believe is that in this world you have to be fair and equal with everyone, but that does not mean that you have to disgrace yourself. Must be fair and equal with everyone and never attack anyone who didn't attack you. And just don't fight with people just because you're having a bad day. just makes you a terrible person and it makes this world worse. I've experienced my share. I have done it to other people as well, and it's not worth it at all. Okay, I think we just answered that one, right? What book, movie, film, or video game had the best ending? Well, if you've been a subscriber to me for a while, then you've probably watched my gaming videos back then where I used to play Forza and Cyberpunk before I decided that I want to get a little bit personal on YouTube. But I mean, if you still want to watch gaming videos, let me know in the comments below. I'd be happy to play any game you guys suggest me. I'm just not much of a gamer myself. But a game with the best ending, I would honestly say Cyberpunk 2077. Ending was so emotional, and I'm genuinely curious about the other endings. If you guys know exactly what happens, or if you know anyone who played this game and had the other endings, please let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to watch it myself. And if you're a YouTuber as well, do the same for me, please. You have enough money to make a sizable charitable donation. To which charity do you donate it and why? Or if you choose to not to go through a charity, how would you spend this money in a philanthropic way? You can ask Mr. Beast about that. The guy has literally donated a lot of money, and I truly respect him for everything he has done for all these people and to make them happy. But for me personally, I would not give it to any charity because, as legend has it, like as far as I know, some charities were complete scam and a ripoff, and they just took half of the money and they gave the other half. No honesty. So I'd rather be a philanthropist myself and give this money away. That is if I am forced to give it away. If not, then I will think of other ways on how to use this money. But if I'm forced to give it away, I would try to make some people happy. I would probably buy a car. I would, give someone in need some money, help them out with something they never expected. You never know who truly needs it. But I'm sure that there are people out there who need it. What is something weird you do that you wonder if other people do as well? What do I do which is weird? Am I the only one who tells himself every day I'm going to study at 9 a.m. and then it's 9 p.m. and you didn't even open a book? Because I do that literally every day. And then I tell well, I don't tell my parents, but I do come out straight that I'm not studying properly, and my family knows for a fact that I don't study anymore. If you're also one of these big procrastinators, let me know in the comments below and subscribe, Procrastinator Team. All right, suddenly you're in a horror film, running from a masked murderer. Your only companion is the last person you texted, and your only weapons whatever is currently closest to your left hand. What is the movie like? And do you think you could survive? The last person I texted was some girl that I'm currently talking to nowadays. No, I don't think that she will be able to survive. She doesn't seem like, well, I don't know. You should ask her, okay? No face reveals intended right now. And the closest weapon to my left is my calculator. Let's have a calculator fight. Yeah, I'll see the ghost and take the calculator cover, and next up comes the calculator just in case the cover misses them. And then I'll come third and say only live once. If I miss on that hit, then I'm good as dead. But if I make it, oh, I'm gonna be a beast. What is one thing you're tired of telling, explaining to people? No one in this world really cares about you if you're not big or if you're not popular. Like, as long as you take care of your physical health, your mental health, your wealth, your fame, your popularity, social media, and you have a good career, people will care about you because you're much better than them. But if you're not anything special and you're just like the rest where you're just living to survive, no one will care about you. Trust me about that. Well, 95% of the world won't. You will have these loyal friends, but the majority of the rest just won't care. All right, what embarrassing memory will forever be burned into your mind? Yeah, like I said earlier, remember that question where I spoke about the time where I embarrassed myself and said something inappropriate in public to a girl, which just somehow played in my favor? I'm never gonna forget that. For security purposes, I don't want to talk about this right now. What was the busiest day of your life this far? Busiest days are always the days before exam. That's when I'm studying like I've never studied before. So far, I probably say last semester I had an exam, which I barely passed, but I was incredibly busy the night before that. I was just trying to cram as much as I can for the exam. What was the greatest day of your life this far? Um, my personal greatest day, like, okay, let's not talk about getting enrolled into universities or that. If I'm being flat out honest, it was probably the time where I finally convinced my parents when I was way, way below 18 to actually let me drive a car. Uh, that was one hell of a day back then. I was like, yep, okay, so that's not like the video games. I got much better with driving over time, but that first drive was just like nothing I've ever experienced before. What was the worst day of your life this far? The day where I first lost the first girl I have ever dated because I got way too clingy. I felt an incredible amount of emotional pain, and that lasted for a few years after that. That was the worst day of my life. I don't want to talk about this. What is one thing you're good at that people don't expect? Probably standing up for myself. Like if anyone tries to disrespect me, as soon as I sense that something is wrong, they're out as soon as possible. And majority of the people just wouldn't see that coming. They'll be like, "Wow, that's not what you do. You seem like a friendly guy. You seem friendly." I'm like, "Get out of here. I'm not that friendly. You're gonna disrespect me. I'm just gonna kick you out of the door." In what way do you differ most from your parents? Depends, my mother or father. For my mother, I would say that my mother likes, well, that's as far as I know her, but she's trying to play it safe and she always takes a lot of time to think about things. In the meanwhile, I do some massive research about anything that interests me, and I always try to shift from one thing to the other incredibly quickly. Because the moment that one of them works really well for me, that's it. I only need to be right once. I can be wrong 100 times. Even YouTube, if that fails for me, I can always try something else. But please, guys, don't make it feel okay. I'm getting tired of this. But from my father, I would say I am less of a risk taker than him. My father takes some incredibly big risks at times. Well, that's what I've seen from him, and that's one thing I truly admire about him because he has really made well enough in his life. Like that's as far as I have seen when I have visited him. Anyway, that's about it for this little video, and thank you so much for watching. If you didn't watch from anything from part 1 to 5, I will also link them in a card here somewhere. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will leave a pinned comment in the comment section below, along with the description. And without further ado, thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a good one. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you tomorrow in part 7. Peace.